Hello, friends. Thanks for joining me for Unit 1, Module A, Lesson 6. I am so excited to read with you today. We are going to revisit both Stellaluna and Dragons and Giants. We will be listening and paying close attention to the characters in our story. Remember that characters are the people or animals in a story. Today we are going to look at the characters in both stories we have read and find ways their experiences and adventures are alike and different. The characters in these books depend on or need one another. Your learning intention and success criteria says, in this lesson, we are learning to compare and contrast character experiences and adventures in a story. We will know we are successful when we can identify the events in a story in sequenced order and compare and contrast how the events are the same and how they are different. When we say sequenced order, boys and girls, we are talking about the order in which things happened. So we are going to reread from Frog and Toad Together the story Dragons and Giants by Arnold Lobel, and we're going to reread Stellaluna by Janelle Cannon. Dragons and Giants. Frog and Toad were reading a book together. The people in this book are brave, said Toad. They fight dragons and giants, and they are never afraid. I wonder if we are brave, said Frog. Frog and Toad looked into a mirror. We look brave, said Frog. Yes, but are we? Asked Toad. Frog and Toad went outside. We can try to climb this mountain, said Frog. That should tell us if we are brave. Frog went leaping over rocks, and Toad came puffing up behind him. They came to a dark cave. A big snake came out of the cave. Hello, lunch, said the snake. When he saw Frog and Toad, he opened his wide mouth. Frog and Toad jumped away. Toad was shaking. I'm not afraid, he cried. They climbed higher and they heard a loud noise. Many large stones were rolling down the mountain. It's an avalanche, cried Toad. Frog and Toad jumped away. Frog was trembling. I am not afraid, he shouted. They came to the top of the mountain. The shadow of a hawk fell over them. Frog and Toad jumped under a rock. The hawk flew away. We are not afraid, screamed Frog and Toad at the same time. Then they ran down the mountain very fast. They ran past the place where they saw the avalanche. They ran past the place where they saw the snake. They ran all the way to Toad's house. Frog, I am glad to have a brave friend like you, said Toad. He jumped into the bed and pulled the covers over his head. And I am happy to know a brave person like you, Toad, said Frog. He jumped into the closet and shut the door. Toad stayed in the bed, and Frog stayed in the closet. They stayed there for a long time, just feeling very brave together. And now, friends, we are going to read from Stella Luna. In a warm and sultry forest, far, far away, there once lived a mother fruit bat and her new baby. Oh, how Mother Bat loved her soft, tiny baby. "I'll name you Stella Luna," she crooned. Each night Mother Bat would carry Stella Luna clutched to her breast as she flew out to search for food. One night, as Mother Bat followed a heavy scent of ripe fruit, an owl spied her. On silent wings the powerful bird swooped down upon the bats. Dodging and shrieking, Mother Bat tried to escape, but the owl struck again and again, knocking Stella Luna into the air. Her baby wings were limp and useless as wet paper. Down, down she went, faster and faster into the forest below. The dark, leafy tangle of branches caught Stella Luna as she fell. One twig was small enough for Stella Luna's tiny feet. Wrapping her wings about her, she clutched the thin branch, trembling with cold and fear. "Mother," Stella Luna squeaked, "where are you?" By daybreak the baby bat could hold on no longer. Down, down again she dropped. Flump! Stella Luna landed head first in a soft, downy nest, startling the 3 baby birds who lived there. Stella Luna quickly clambered from the nest and hung out of sight below it. She listened to the babble of the 3 birds. "What was that?" cried Flap. "I don't know, but it's hanging by its feet," chirped Flitter. "Shh! Here comes Mama," hissed Pip. Many, many times that day Mama Bird flew away, always returning with food for her babies. Stella Luna was terribly hungry, but not for crawly things Mama Bird brought. Finally, though, the little bat could bear it no longer. She climbed into the nest, closed her eyes, and opened her mouth. Plop! In dropped a big green grasshopper. Stella Luna learned to be like the birds. She stayed awake all day and slept at night. She ate bugs even though they tasted awful. Her bat ways were quickly disappearing, except for one thing. Stella Luna still liked to sleep hanging by her feet. Once, when Mama was away, the curious baby birds decided to try it too. When Mama Bird came home, she saw 8 tiny feet gripping the edge of the nest. "Eek!" she cried. "Get back up here this instant! You're going to fall and break your necks!" The birds clambered back into the nest, but Mama Bird stopped Stella Luna. "You are teaching my children to do bad things. I will not let you back into this nest unless you promise to obey all the rules of this house." Stella Luna promised. She ate bugs without making faces. She slept in the nest at night, and she didn't hang by her feet. Stella Luna behaved as a good bird should. All the babies grew quickly. Soon the nest became crowded. Mama Bird told them it was time to learn to fly. One by one, Pip, Flitter, Flap, and Stella Luna jumped from the nest. Their wings worked! I'm just like them, thought Stella Luna. I can fly too. Pip, Flitter, and Flap landed gracefully on a branch. Stella Luna tried to do the same. How embarrassing! I will fly all day, Stella Luna told herself. Then no one will see how clumsy I am. The next day, Pip, Flitter, Flap, and Stella Luna went flying far from home. They flew for hours, exercising their new wings. The sun is setting, warned Flitter. We had better go home or we will get lost in the dark, said Flap. But Stella Luna had flown far ahead and was nowhere to be seen. The three anxious birds went home without her. All alone, Stella Luna flew and flew until her wings ached and she dropped into a tree. I promised not to hang by my feet, Stella Luna sighed. So she hung by her thumbs and soon fell asleep. She didn't hear the soft sound of wings coming near. Hey, a loud voice said. Why are you hanging upside down? Stella Luna's eyes opened wide. She saw a most peculiar face. I'm not upside down. You are, Stella Luna said. But you're a bat. Bats hang by their feet. You're hanging by your thumbs. So that makes you upside down, the creature said. I'm a bat. I'm hanging by my feet. That makes me right side up. Stella Luna was confused. Mama Bird told me I was upside down. She said I was wrong. Wrong for a bird, maybe, but not for a bat. More bats gathered around to see the strange young bat who behaved like a bird. Stella Luna told them her story. You ate bugs? Stuttered one. You slept at night? Gasped another. How very strange, they all murmured. Wait, wait. Let me look at this child. A bat pushed through the crowd. An owl attacked you? She asked. Sniffing Stella Luna's fur, she whispered, You are Stella Luna. You are my baby. You escaped the owl? Cried Stella Luna. You survived? Yes, said Mother Bat, as she wrapped her wings around Stella Luna. Come with me and I'll show you where to find the most delicious fruit. You'll never have to eat another bug as long as you live. But it's nighttime, Stella Luna squeaked. We can't fly in the dark or we will crash into trees. We're bats, said Mother Bat. We can see in darkness. Come with us. Stellaluna was afraid, but she let go of the tree and dropped into the deep blue sky. Stellaluna could see. She felt as though rays of light shone from her eyes. She was able to see everything in her path. Boys and girls, we have reached the point of our lesson where we have our first vocabulary word. Do you see the word that is highlighted? That word is nighttime. Nighttime is the time between sunset and sunrise. Remember, bats can see at nighttime when it's dark outside. Soon the bats found a mango tree, and Stellaluna ate as much of the fruit as she could hold. "I'll never eat another bug as long as I live," cheered Stellaluna, as she stuffed herself full. "I must tell Pip, Flitter, and Flap." The next day Stellaluna went to visit the birds. "Come with me and meet my bat family," said Stellaluna. "Okay, let's go," agreed Pip. "They hang by their feet and they fly at night, and they eat the best food in the world," Stellaluna explained to the birds on the way. As the birds flew among the bats, Flap said, "I feel upside down here." So the birds hung by their feet. "Wait until dark," Stellaluna said excitedly. "We will fly at night." When night came, Stellaluna flew away. Pip, Flitter, and Flap leapt from the tree to follow her. "I can't see a thing," yelled Pip. "Neither can I," howled Flitter. "Ah!" shrieked Flap. "They're going to crash," gasped Stellaluna. "I must rescue them." Stellaluna swooped about, grabbing her friends in the air. She lifted them to a tree, and the birds grasped a branch. Stellaluna hung from the limb above them. I see we have two more vocabulary words, boys and girls, that are highlighted in yellow. Do you see the words? Our first vocabulary word is crash, which means to strike or to smash by hitting into something. And then the word rescue means to free or save. So Stellaluna was afraid they might crash into the tree, and she hurried back to rescue them or to save them. "We're safe," said Stellaluna. Then she sighed. "I wish you could see in the dark too." "We wish you could land on your feet," Flitter replied. Pip and Flap nodded. They perched in silence for a long time. "How can we be so different and feel so much alike?" mused Flitter. "And how can we feel so different and be so much alike?" wondered Pip. "I think this is quite a mystery," Flap chirped. "I agree," said Stellaluna. "But we're friends, and that's a fact." Okay, boys and girls, we've now come to the part of our lesson where we asked our questions for today. You may want to get a paper and pencil to write down your answers to share with your teacher later. This would be a good place to pause the video. Our first question says, how are Flap's words, "I feel upside down," connected to the illustrations on page 41? So I can look at the picture and see the birds are hanging upside down with the bats. How do you think that picture shows the connection between the birds and the bats? I'll wait while you write your answer. Your next question says, what happens on pages 42 and 43? How do you know how the birds feel? So we're going to reread pages 42. When nighttime came, Stella Luna flew away. Pip, Flitter, and Flap leapt from the tree to follow her. I can't see a thing, yelled Pip. Neither can I, howled Flitter. Ah! Shrieked Flap. They're going to crash, gasped Stella Luna. I must rescue them. Stella Luna swooped about, grabbing her friends in the air. She lifted them to a tree, and the birds grasped a branch. Stella Luna hung from the limb above. So how do you think the birds were feeling when Stella Luna flew off into the night? Remember, birds can't see at night. And then our last question says, on page 44, the text says, they perched in silence for a long time. What do you think Stella Luna and the birds were thinking? Friends, today we have a writing activity for your journal. Remember, friends, this is an optional activity, but if you would like to practice writing, this would be a fun activity to do. I'll wait while you get your pencils and journals ready. Our activity says, look at the illustrations on page 12 and 13 of Dragons and Giants. Think about what is happening in the illustrations. Use the details to write 2 to 3 sentences about what is happening in this part of the story. Remember, when we write about events that happen in a story, we want to use details that help the reader understand our story. When writing, we should ask ourselves, what is happening in the story? Where is the event happening? And how do the characters feel about what is happening? Good writers always try to answer questions the readers might have about the story when they write. So we're going to look at the 2 pictures, and in your own words, I want you to write 2 to 3 sentences using details to tell us what is happening in the story. If you like, you can reread this part of the story. It says, they came to the top of the mountain. The shadow of a hawk fell over them. Frog and Toad jumped under a rock. The hawk flew away. We're not afraid, screamed Frog and Toad at the same time. They ran down the mountain very fast. They ran past the place where they saw the avalanche. They ran past the place where they saw the snake. They ran all the way to Toad's house. This is the part of the lesson where we go back and see if we met our success criteria. Remember, our learning intention said, in this lesson, we are learning to compare and contrast characters, experiences, and adventures in a story. We will know we are successful when we can identify events in the story in sequenced order and compare and contrast how the events are the same and how they are different. How do you think you did today, boys and girls? I think you probably did a fantastic job. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to reading with you again tomorrow. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.